Hello folks, my name is Shivaraja and I'm the Technical Solutions Architect at HYCU. Today, I will be demonstrating our HYCU's Data Protection as a Service solution running on Google Cloud. As you can see, HYCU is readily available to be subscribed on Google Cloud Marketplace, and HYCU is also integrated with Google Billing. Now, once you subscribe to our Data Protection as a Service solution running on Google Cloud, we will be able to automatically discover all of your projects and VMs based on your service account. So let's just jump into our HYCU's login screen. And let me try to sign in. And as you can notice, I'm actually logging into my HYCU using my Google ID. Now, this is because HYCU is integrated with Google's Identity Access Management. This means that when you subscribe to our solution, we will be able to integrate with not just your projects and your virtual machines, but we also have the ability to inherit all of your users and multi-tenancy and security policies from your identity access management, so that when a user logs into HYCU, he or she will be able to view the resources that they are authorized to work with. This basically means that you as an end user don't have to do any of those manual installation or deployment or configuration. I mean, you don't even have to do any of those planning or sizing exercises, because our solution is truly deployed as a service, and you as an end user, all you have to do is basically log in to our solution and everything will be discovered and configured for you. So let's start with the dashboard. Now here you can actually see all of our instances that are protected versus unprotected instances. You also get to see all of the applications, the ones that are protected versus unprotected applications. You also get to see the subscription information, the backup jobs that have succeeded versus the ones that have failed. You also get to view the backup targets capacity information and the policy compliance, like all of your, all of the good stuff. Now, when you click on instances, you should be able to view all of your virtual machines residing within your project. And speaking of projects, as I mentioned before, HYCU actually has the ability to discover all of the projects. And when you log in, you'll only be able to view your projects and the virtual machines that you're authorized to view. In addition to that, you also have the ability to define something called as protection sets. What this does is this basically provides you the ability to add multiple projects as a single protection entity, and you have the ability to treat those resources as one single Uber entity and manage those resources. So when you create a protection set, you actually have the ability to filter the entire solution based on that protection set. So back to our Google VMs or Google instances. Let's actually go ahead with one of our VMs here. Now, as you can see, this VM has already been backed up. You have tons of options here when it comes to data recovery. You actually have the ability to recover the entire instance. You can restore the original instance, or you can actually clone this instance as a different VM. And as you can see, you actually have the ability to clone this VM into a different project or into a different region. And you also have the ability to specify additional network configuration. Now, in addition to performing VM level restore or VM level recovery or VM cloning, you also have the ability to restore those individual files or folders. Now here you can actually see that you can recover those individual files or folders to the original VM or to the original Google instance. In addition to that, you also have the ability to restore the files or folders to an alternate VM or to a different instance. You also have the ability to do the same to your Google Cloud Storage or a Google bucket. Here, you actually have the ability to browse through the file system and restore your individual files or folders. You also have the ability to search for a specific file. And when trying to restore these files, you actually have the ability to restore this file to the original or to an alternate location. You also have the ability to overwrite your original file, or rename your original file, or rename your restored file. In addition to that, you also have the ability to recover the associated ACLs for your file and folders. One of the coolest things about HYCU is the ability to create application consistent backups for standard and custom applications. Now, when it comes to custom applications, HYCU does provide you the ability to come up with a pre-post framework where you can actually specify pre-post scripts on an individual VM so that you actually have the ability to create a pre-post Google snapshot. And based on that snapshot, we'll be doing a backup to your Google Cloud Storage. And I'll be talking more about the Google Cloud Storage as we go through this demo. But in addition to that, HYCU also has a native integration with SAP HANA running on Google Cloud. This is because HYCU actually can integrate with the Google Cloud's SAP HANA certified backend agent, where HYCU will be able to automatically detect all of your SAP HANA infrastructure. It also has the ability to automatically deploy and maintain the SAP HANA backend agent. And once that agent is deployed, all you have to do is basically specify a backup policy to your application, and we'll be able to protect that for you. I mean, we'll be able to, perform incremental forever application consistent backups of your SAP HANA workloads to your Google Cloud Storage. Now, when it comes to recovery, this is where things get even more interesting, because we have the ability to not just recover your entire SAP HANA suite, but we also have this ability to recover individual databases at the exact point in time because of this whole backend integration. And when it comes to recovery, we actually have the ability to do recovery to alternate instances that are located in a different zone or within a different project. Now, HYCU basically does backups of all of your Google Cloud VMs to Google Cloud Storage. As you already know, Google Cloud Storage is extremely cost efficient. And one of the coolest things about HYCU is we are transparent to Google Cloud's storage tiering. We have the ability to identify your nearline, cold line, and archive tiers, where we have the ability to automatically move these backups to the respective tier based on the retention time. And we still have the ability to do restores even if your data is located in the archive tier. So we won't have any issues there. In addition to that, HYCU also has the ability to do backups to worm-enabled Google Cloud Storage, meaning that if you'd like to secure your backups from malware or ransomware attacks, you actually have the ability to preserve these backups until their retention is expired. And in addition to that, you actually have the ability to specify separate service accounts that have access to these Google Cloud Storage. And you also have the ability to do backups to a totally, a siloed project. I mean, if you have, let's say, a production project and you'd like to, have air-gapped backups, you can actually make use of HYCU to perform those backups to a siloed project containing a bucket with a dedicated service account with worm feature enabled. So this can be like a 100% air-gapped backup solution. Now, when it comes to policies, HYCU is extremely simple to use because, to start with, HYCU is purely a policy-based data protection solution, and we already have, built-in out-of-the-box policies that you can make use of. However, if you wanted to create a new policy, you can do that as well, and you have, extremely simple set of options that are very easy to use. For instance, To start with the basic options, we actually have the ability to specify the backup frequency and the retention time in terms of a snapshot or a bucket. Now, when it comes to snapshot, we support regional and multi-regional snapshots. And when it comes to storing backups within a Google Cloud storage, we have the ability to specify a bucket manually. And when it comes to specifying these buckets, you can actually create these buckets not just local to your projects, but also to a different project, as I mentioned before. And you also have the ability to create these projects in a totally different zone or in a different region, and we'll still be able to do those backups. In addition to that, you also have the ability to perform a copy, which are redundant backup copies to a different Google Cloud storage. You also have the ability to automate the entire backup policy assignment, where based on the tags that are assigned to your Google virtual machines, HYCU actually has the ability to identify those tags, and HYCU can automatically assign these policies to the VMs with the appropriate tags when they are newly discovered. So this is purely a set and forget model where once you define these policies appropriately, you as an end user don't even have to log into the solution to manage the backups of newly discovered or newly created VMs. In addition to that, you also have the ability to create archive backups. So an archive backup, in this case, basically works as a child policy, where you basically assign an archive policy that has been created independently. So let me just go to the archiving setting here. And when you create a new archiving policy here, you actually have the ability to create a full archive on a daily, weekly, monthly, or an yearly basis. And this basically is assigned as a child policy to your parent policy. And within the archive policy, you also have the ability to specify your own retention setting with the appropriate backup target, and you also have the ability to specify the storage class. HYCU provides out-of-the-box backup reports that can be scheduled on a regular basis based on your discretion. One of my favorite reports is the instance compliance report that actually gives details about all of my Google instances that have been backed up. And as you can see, this report can be exported into a CSV format. In addition to that, HYCU keeps track of all of your events, be it with regards to backup success, failure, or warnings, or restore successes or failures or warnings, or even other events that are very internal to your to your HYCU solution, or even user-related activities. And HYCU does have the ability to generate notifications. As always, we have the ability to generate email-based notifications for your events. But the most interesting thing here is the webhooks. Now, HYCU has the ability to send webhooks to solutions like ServiceNow or Slack. Now, let's just take a look at this webhook that we created for ServiceNow. So this particular webhook has the ability to generate notifications for backup or restore our credentials, failures, or warnings. And as you can see, this can be an extremely useful feature when it comes to integrating your backup infrastructure with your ITSM tools or other software solutions. HYCU also keeps track of all of your backup and restore jobs, and when it comes to looking into a specific job, we can provide you all the details. And as a matter of fact, I'm actually highlighting on a backup job. At the bottom of the screen, you can see the job details, and when you click on View Report, you also get to see even more details about the given backup job. So that was a short demo for HYCU Data Protection as a Service for Google Cloud. If you'd like to know more about us, please reach out to us at www.hycu.com or simply email us at google@hycu.com or info@hycu.com. Thank you.